successes and scored a lot of firsts. During the year 2023, our association achieved significant milestones in as far as affirming its establishment, enhancing awareness and branding, as well as creation of value and impact for you, our members. Esteemed members, going forward, the aforementioned areas will be the focus of the association to ensure maximum growth. These are main strategic focus areas that I'll report on. To start with, the establishment. And I'll start talking, about the Secretariat. I'm glad to report that in the year 2023, in order to enhance the operations of the association, my executive managed to fill in the position of the registrar that fell vacant after, the registrar's contract was not renewed. In the same manner, we renewed the contract for 2 staff and confirmed 2 others who were on probation. All this was done to improve, the operations of the secretariat, and to improve the conditions of service. We also increased the pay for our staff. Esteemed members, we are now in the process of developing new establishment that will respond to the growth and demand of the association. As you may know, we are running with a very lean workforce at the secretariat, and hence some of the times that you need to be attended to, you find that we take a little bit longer to attend to all the matters. This is because our establishment is very lean, and we intend now to fill it in gradually. When it comes to legal and regulatory frameworks, as you know, we are an association that is established by an act of parliament. So this means that we drive our mandate from a piece of registration. And you may be interested to know that my council, together with the secretariat, has been working tirelessly to ensure that the statutory instruments are in place. With the good support we've received from our line ministry, I'm glad to let you know that this process is in its final stage, and we are almost at the verge of having them signed. Having our SI signed will mean increasing the membership and reducing on the non-compliant, issues. So soon we'll be announcing, the signing of these SIs. Equally so, we are working on the policies and procedures that will shape the way we do several things. On top of it is our continuous professional development policy, communication policy, and other internal operational policies. Dear members, the policy will also guide our social media groups such as WhatsApp, where we only have paid up members being on these groups. In improving awareness and branding, honorable members, you agree with me that a few years ago, a lot of people didn't recognize ICTAZ and its mandate. When we flip our pages a bit backwards, you will find that a good number of job adverts and ICT tenders never recognized ICTAZ as a mandatory requirement. And I remember whenever we chat on this WhatsApp group, a lot of people used to ask to why this was the case. But to make it worse, others still being referred to us as Computer Society of Zambia. In short, what I'm trying to say is we did not have a strong brand that attracted stakeholder engagement, and one that could easily provide value. One cannot talk about value creation without a strong name or a strong brand. Colleagues, I'm glad to announce that my executive and secretariat has so far worked so hard in this area and changed the perception of the association. We have rewritten the narrative, and ICTAZ is now a brand and a cornerstone being consulted almost on a daily basis. ICTAZ has also been actively engaging with different stakeholders in both public and private sector. This has been to claim the position we deserve, that is to have, in turn, building the strong, befitting name. With a continued effort and robust strategies we've put in place, and we've continued to receive various requests on daily basis. We've been asked to recommend people to sit on boards, committees, and other technical committees as representations from the ICT professional body. And we are asked to recommend for employment almost on a daily basis by various organizations. We are sitting on interview panels, technical committees, working groups, and other similar groups and committees. We have even become a media darling. That means in the year 2023, there hasn't been any national ICT event without ICTAZ being contacted for a comment and input in a number of media platforms. This is evident by the number of media appearances we've made both in print and electronic media, and we have issued media statements relating to online cybersecurity, hacking, investment into the ICT sector, the introduction of SpaceX Starlink, Starlink low orbit satellite internet service, government summits, to mention just a few. Both the government and private sectors are always extending an invitation to us to participate in national critical activities. Just last week, colleagues, ICTAZ was present at the Ministry of Technology and Science event when they launched the strategic roadmap and policy documents. The association was also present at the Digital Government Africa Summit that was held last week. We also participated in the Pan-African Conference on Science, Computing and Telecommunications. That's PACT 2023. We also attended the Lusaka Slashed Conference and the Electronic Government Division Smart Zambia Strategy Launch. Submissions were also made to the Ministry of Technology and Science regarding the Data Protection Act. Subsequent engagement with the Data Commission has been made also. Allow me to express my sadness, colleagues, that participation in this call was very low. We received less than 5 submissions from you, our members, and this is very worrying because we believe we are one of the biggest professional bodies, and at the rate we've reached, we expect maximum participation of members. In terms of policy direction, we were able to make submissions for the revision of Cybersecurity and Cybercrime Acts, as well as making a submission to the National Assembly Committee on Media. When it comes to international relations, our esteemed members, ICTAZ and our pursuit for an impactful association, we have crossed beyond the boundaries of our nation. ICTAZ has been now a focal point for knowledge sharing amongst ICT professional bodies in Southern Africa and beyond. And at continental level, 2 of our executive members have since taken critical roles as pioneers and are sitting on the board of Technology Information Confederation Africa, called TICONA. And just this past month, September, I led a team composed of the chairperson for professional development and registrar to Uganda in Entebbe for the inaugural TICONA conference. And during that conference, the chairperson for professional development from ICTAZ and I participated on the interview or discussion panels, while our registrar was very much actively involved in giving information and helped the Marketing Society of Uganda with some best practices, tips for running a member-driven association. Yesterday, colleagues, our secretariat also received invitation from Malawi, Zimbabwe, requesting us to travel to attend their events. Specifically, Zimbabwe requested and listed that they've arranged a meeting with us to meet their line minister to share our success story. We've also been receiving invitation from across the world, which is an indication of institutional growth. As we speak, Secretariat is overwhelmed by continental invitation, and many of them are thirsty to learn from ICTAZ. In these collaborations lies many opportunities for all of us as members of this association. These collaborations have since opened doors for our entrepreneurs and innovators to trade and collaborate within the region without difficulties. And the opportunities also extend to those looking for jobs. Let us identify these opportunities and seize them. In creation of impact and value, esteemed colleagues, these achievements explain the value and impact we've created, hence the recognition from all these associations in Africa and across the world. This impact has created a fertile ground for a lot of organizations to work with us. We saw the number of sponsors, for example, and exhibitors at our main events skyrocketing, a testament that indeed we are an association of choice. And not so long ago, Zambia Breweries and Access Solution made some donations of several ICT equipment, which included servers, switches, computers, to mention a few. And these equipments are not just for, association, but it's for all of us members of the association. They are for the students and for the young brother of mine and yours in the remote parts of the national to benefit from. That child with a dream, that one with a tech should, I say, innovation dream. Allow me to address the professional development. This year, we introduced master classes as a way of developing skills amongst our members, which are part of the implementation of continuous professional development. The results for these classes are added to each individual CPD points. We therefore encourage each one of us to ensure that we attend these events whenever they're advertised and called on, as they will help us, accumulate more points that may be useful, in the progression of our professional development in ICT. During these master classes, colleagues, we were combined with our annual, which were combined with our annual conference and AGM. We saw over 200 members being trained in 4 classes, and these are digital transformation with cyber resilience, ICT service management, enterprise governance of ICT, as well as Information Security Masterclass. Other masterclasses that we conducted during this year were corporate governance with financial fluency and artificial intelligence, machine learning, data science, and analytics with big data. I am proud to inform you that all these were facilitated by our own local experts, which is a sign of industrial growth. We also held our international expo. This year, we hosted our annual international expo and conference at Mulungushi International Conference Center. And the expo was combined with a conference and was held under the theme Building Digital Resilience, Policy, Infrastructure, and Skills. The multi-sectorial event brought together key stakeholders. We saw a favorable participation from both the exhibitors as well as delegates. Again, allow me to say, though this event was open to the members, was advertised on different platforms, the attendance, and it was free of charge in that case, the attendance was very low, which also worried, the association, as members has been calling upon this association to ensure that we create value and increase the number of events apart from the AGM, which in the past used to be the case. We only used to have only one event, but this year, you may agree with me that we've had more than enough events, and we're still planning to host more before the end of the year. Colleagues, in the history of the association, next week we plan to host the post-national budget analysis breakfast meeting. The meeting will provide a crucial platform for discussing the ICT sector's role in unlocking economic potential. The discussion will delve into how ICT should play a critical role in economic transformation and how we can innovate and scale up the digital services for the country's growth. The ICT sector will have the privilege to get first-hand budget interpretation from the Honorable Minister of Finance and National Planning, Dr. Situmbeko Msokotwane, alongside his counterpart, the Minister of Technology and Science, Honorable Felix Mutati. He will also give his expectation of the ICT industry in contributing to the country at large. But more importantly, we will discuss how our sector will be impacted by the 2024 national budget. When it comes to social and networking, colleagues, just like they say that all work and no play make John a dull boy, we've known ICT people to spend more time engulfed in server rooms, doing technical work. But again, in the year 2023, or this year rather, ICTAZ organized a social networking golf tournament, which we would love to build upon. We had different participation and enjoyed ourselves. We networked, danced, laughed, but importantly exercised for our better health. We're looking forward for more members to join in the next year's event. And in order to bridge the gap between the students and the ICT professionals, colleagues, we facilitated students' attendance at this year's AGM, which was our 14th AGM. As you may know that in the past, despite ICTAZ recognizing students as part of the category of membership, these students has not enjoyed any single activity from the association. This year, I'm happy to mention that we hosted over 30 students drawn from 5 universities for starters. And prior their coming, we gave them an assignment of a tech problem which they presented before the minister and the conference. And I'm proud to announce that all of them walked away with prizes. Colleagues, this was done for us to indicate, or this rather indicates the starting of students and ICT professional interaction, and going forward, would want to ensure that a bigger number of students attends our functions. This won't only benefit the students, but will also bridge the gap between the two parties and ensure mentorship amongst students, which is a good thing, as we know that these students will later be turned into professionals when we are long gone. Esteemed members, let me, on behalf of the Minister, the Council, Secretariat, and indeed myself, extend my sincere thanks to those who came through to contribute to add on the Minister's prize money for the students. Talking about the AGM, colleagues, most of you who attended last year's AGM who attest of how successful it was. We scored so much, and of course we picked a good number of lessons of which we are building on. Our robust decision-making process, emerging from divergent views when conducting our business, shows how democratic we are. I'm proud to note that we always come out stronger, and a good number of resolutions were made which can be found in the minutes shared on the website. Members, we have already started preparations for next year's elective AGM, and take note, because a lot of people have been asking us on social media when the next AGM is taking place. Allow me to announce the date that we've set once again for the next elective AGM, which is will take place from the 23rd to 27th of April 2024 in Livingstone. For the elections, a team has been constituted to review the electoral processes. That is an independent team. And also, as we promised, modalities are being put in place to undertake our elections electronically. Again, a completely independent team drawn from you, our members, was constituted and made its own recommendations. Colleagues, let me assure you that we will also have a master class, some master classes at this event. And as we may all be aware, we had a legal matter. Esteemed colleagues, earlier this year, one executive council member was suspended on disciplinary matter. This suspension was contested before the courts of law, and most of us must be aware that this issue was even put on our social media, various, communication and correspondences were shared on WhatsApp and other platforms. We received calls from the radio stations and media, and the issue was brought before the AGM, though we did not deliberate this issue as it was active in court. This issue was contested as a judicial review, meaning the complainant was questioning or asking the court to review or go through the processes of suspension to discover whether the suspension was legal and whether the procedures were followed in issuing this suspension. Colleagues, it was the council's wish for the best interest of the association to settle the matter outside court. And when these efforts were made, huge sums of money amounting to a total of 550,000 kwacha, composed of 400 in damages and 150,000 as legal fees towards the complainant, were asked if we were to settle this matter outside court. And as you may be aware, this association generates money through membership, and esteemed members, we remained with no choice but to protect this amount of money. We decided to enter into a defense. We have instructed our lawyers to ensure that they enter into a defense for us to save this huge amount of money that was asked. And I'm happy to inform you that the case was disposed of and went in favor of the association. And like any judgment, it is available in public for everyone to see. The complainant, so if you are to make a correction, the complainant demanded the money from the association if we were to settle out this case outside court, as they felt that they were damaged, damaged, and to cover for the damages, that's how that money was, asked. So when we decided to enter into defense, of course, we did not run away from the legal cost, but of course we reduced the costs, and I can report that we still accumulated 145,000 kwacha in terms of legal costs. Fellow members, to improve the operations of the association, Secretariat is working with various committees to improve operations of the associations, and we formed these committees to ensure that we formulate required policies, conditions of service, the full structure of the association, so that we ensure optimal performance of the Secretariat. My fellow members, before I close, allow me to mention about the many faces that we've scored under my administration. For the first time, we had our line minister officiating as a guest of honor at the ICTAZ annual general meeting. We also had an induction ceremony of 29 fellows conferred at the AGM by the line minister. We conducted master classes during AGM, which we will continue to do so. Colleagues, for the first time, we also managed to have an AGM held at a prestigious 5-star hotel. As you may be aware, a lot of you used to ask us to emulate other professional bodies and move our AGMs from other places where we used to hold them. We also hosted student chapters at the 14th AGM conference and rewarded them with various prizes for the first time. Colleagues, I'll be failing if I do not report that we recorded the highest number of delegates at the AGM, which included international delegates, some of which were presidents of ICT professional bodies from other countries. So kudos to you, our members, for turning out in numbers and ensure that we had a successive AGM. Colleagues, we also hosted for the first time a networking golf tournament to promote social and professional interaction. We also recorded our first when we received a donation of various ICT equipment to the association, which we intend to use towards student innovations and other operational issues within the Secretariat. Colleagues, those were not, as though those were not enough, next week we plan for the first time to host a post-national budget analysis. We've been seeing our colleagues from other professional bodies hosting these post-budget analysis, and we thought ICTAZ also should take a leap to discuss how the ICTs, industry will be affected by this budget. Colleagues, we also participated in the ICT, conference, which is run by the academicians who are members, senior members of ICTAZ. We did not just participate, but we also sponsored part of this event. Colleagues, allow me to boast once again that ICTAZ recorded more than 40 media appearances in the year 2023, becoming the first and highest professional body with the highest media appearances in Zambia. We've been voicing out on various, issues concerning ICT in our sector, and we shall continue to do so. And that's why we said we've now become a media darling, where no issue may pass without them contacting ICTAZ for a comment. This means that we've become a reliable source and a source of news in Zambia. The last thing, members, is we also participated in all national activities that have been conducted by different, ministries and private institutions. So with these a few remarks, colleagues, I wish to thank you once again for the support and the support that you've been giving our association, and appeal that we are capable of becoming the biggest professional body in Zambia only if we all come on board and support ICTAZ. We may see a lot of few wrong things. Once we notice, please don't despair, but contact our secretariat, give your ideas, and ensure that we continue growing. We'll remain your humble servants and ensure that together we grow this association and create the relevance that we deserve in this country. Once again, I thank you all, and I'll hand over to the registrar. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mr. President, and thank you so much, everyone, for your attention. We'll go into our Q&A. We've got a few questions which were raised on the side chat. Maybe we can start with those, and then we can ask others to come in. So the very first hand we had was from Mr. Joseph. I don't know if the question is still needs to be addressed, or maybe as the address went by, it was addressed. So I've seen his hand, so I can just ask him to come on board. Mr. Joseph, please. Mr. Joseph, please. Okay. While Mr. Joseph is organizing himself, I can go to the next comment I received. This came from, then from here, I'll open the queue, then we'll pick questions as the hands were raised. There was a comment from Masao Sonjrovu. It went like, the membership enforcement team needs to do more work. Our members use their pocket money to attend ICTAZ events because organizations do not recognize ICTAZ events. We need to work on this to boost participation going forward. Let me maybe read 3, then the president can pick them. Mr. Patrick Kapaya has commented to say our organization site as an NGO recognizes ICTAZ and pays for every ICTAZ event. Thank you so much, Mr. Kapaya, for that. Then Mr. Androvos comment further to say private organizations pay for Zika membership, but few are recognized as ICTAZ. And then since it's the same question, Mr. Karumba Upe say, thanks for the update on the legal issue and subsequent court judgment. Why was the member suspended in the first place? And did you reinstate them after the disposal of the case? Then the last question is, I feel we members of ICTAZ have so much work to do to make our association visible and recognizable. Okay, that's a comment. Thank you so much for that comment. Maybe the question is, who covered for the legal fees? From the little I know, the court can pass on the fees to the other firm. So maybe Mr. President may want also to comment on the comments, but nevertheless, the 3 questions are, there's a need for the membership enforcement team to do a bit more so that we can be recognized because our members are using their pocket money. Then there's an issue to say who covered the legal fees. From the lead to Mr. Moyo knows, the court can pass the fees to the other firm or the other party in the matter. And then how is the association planning to support professional development and networking opportunities amongst the members? Maybe we can start from there, then we can pick the other questions. Maybe, Mr. President, also, because this is a similar question, there's a question by Support Assurance asking if the legal fees could be claimed back by the association, since it's similar to if the legal fees can be claimed back by the association. Since it's similar, maybe you can take them collectively. Thank you so much.
Okay. Thank you very much, colleagues, for these questions. So I'll try to address these questions as clear as possible. To start with, there is need for the membership team to do more. We agree, and we are aware that most of our members are paying, especially those from the government following the circular. We are aware that they are paying from their pockets, and as an association, we are trying to see ways in which we can, allow members to participate in activities and pay. Different payment modalities are put in place to ensure that we accommodate everyone. Our membership team soon will be doing a nationwide awareness through the membership chair, where we will announce, different payment modalities and ensure that compliance, is done, because you notice that despite us having the act, we still are having a lot of people who are not compliant. So I've just combined the two to ensure that the payment issue as well as awareness will be done, also touching, the compliance. Our membership board is equal to the task. And also the second question, why was the member suspended and was he restated? Yes, Mr. Pupe, I can gladly inform you members that the suspension was for 3 months, and even before the case was disposed of from the court of law, the member was reinstated accordingly, and they are performing their duties. As to why the member was suspended, in my address, I said it was a disciplinary issue, of which I may not dwell so much into details, but it was based on disciplinary issue. As we know, we are a professional body and discipline is key as part of a corporate governance. So we just did that for us to ensure that we continue building a strong foundation for future executives. Thank you. Then the other question, who covered the legal fees? These legal fees were covered by the association. Unfortunately, when the ruling was done, the ruling was not done with costs, meaning the complainant did not lose with the costs, but no cost. So what it means is the association had to bear those costs. But like I mentioned, if we are to settle it out of court, we are going to part away with 550,000 kwacha, of which after went into defense, though we spent, but we reduced this to 145,000 kwacha, and this was done fully by the association. Is there any other questions that?
Thank you so much, Mr. President. I think you covered the questions which were raised. The next one is maybe in the interest of time, the association we recognize the comments and the acknowledgement of the work being done, which are being put here. So just allow me to go straight into the question. Nevertheless, we are ready to take note of the components as well, and we really appreciate. Let me just remind those which need to be addressed. So the next question is,
hello, Registrar. Apologies.
On the chat, so that you follow that order, but there you need that you need to express a question personally. Please just raise your hand and then down to you. So the next question, Mr. President, is
hello, Registrar.
Registrar, there is an echo.
There's an echo, so we cannot hear what you are saying.
Okay, so this is a compliment, great achievement to you, Mr. President, and your team.
Registrar, resolve the problem.
And the next question is that we have seen some new SIs. What's the roadmap for the bill SI? This is coming from support assurance. Support assurance indicates they've seen some new SIs. I believe they mean those which were assigned yesterday. Then they're asking what the roadmap for the FLICTAZ bill or SI is. The next question is, how can members get involved in association activities? Since this one is similar to the first one, allow me to add another one. What is, so this is from unknown, what is the clear strategy on academics and industry? Do we have a deliberate policy to ensure students and lecturers are part and parcel of industrial policy? So maybe you pick those.
Remind me the last.
The last one is what is our clear strategy on academics and industry? Do we have a deliberate policy to ensure students and lecturers are part and parcel of industry and policy making? Okay, so I don't know.
Clear strategy for academicians and
clear strategy.
Academicians and industry.
Yes, policy making. Okay, I'm trying to figure out the balance the hand which are raised and the questions which are on the chat. So I don't know if we maybe exhaust that and come to the questions which have been asked.
Unfortunately, we can't hear you.
So maybe we can take those questions, Mr. President.
Thank you very much, Registrar. So let me start with the first question.
CEO.
How professional development and networking among members
CEO, good evening.
will be encouraged. So this question, I think if you followed in my presentation, we indicated that our chair for professional development and team developed the CPD policy, which will be shared to you, the members, and this has a lot of guidelines on how we are going to support professional development. One way is the introduction of master classes. We've noted that our industry grows almost every time, and hence we've continued identifying areas or new areas that we wish needs our members to be explored, and these are the ones we are targeting for master classes. This is one way we are supporting professional development. So ensure that whenever you see these, apply and attend. And then networking among its members. We announced, for instance, for the first time, holding of an ICTAZ Golf Day. That was not meant to fundraise or what, but as a networking event where we wanted, whether you play golf or you do not play golf, but to come and meet, support, interact, eat, drink, and dine with the team so that we interact. We just created a platform for all members to meet, and we intend to do so in different sports discipline. If you have ideas of what sport you feel can bring people together. I know Brother Elton wanted us to set up football, so we'll look into it. So that's one way we are supporting, and we'll continue also partnering with other institutions to ensure professional development. Then the second one, you've seen the SIs being signed yesterday, yes? And just this morning, the registrar and myself were at the Ministry of Technology, and we discussed this issue with the permanent secretary, of which, this is a welcome, and we'll float it to you, our members, maybe through a virtual call, so that you discuss it, digest it, and give us the feedback so that we develop a paper to, submit to the ministry, depending on how we view these SIs. Let me remind you, our members, that as a body established under the Act of Parliament, our role is big in Zambia, meaning we have to voice out on certain issues and pronouncements that are made and affect the ICT sector. So we've seen that SI, we've seen the national ICT policy, we've seen the digital, strategy, and other documents, strategic documents that were set. Ours now is to digest, read, extract, and give feedback through the association, so that we also give feedback to, policymakers and see if those are in line or aligned with our activities, or they lack something that we may need to be, incorporated in them. As for the roadmap for our ICTAZ SIs, like we said, we are in the final stage. We are working with the Judiciary, Ministry of Justice, Ministry of Technology to ensure that our SIs are also signed. So sooner or later, we'll be announcing the signing. The third question, how can members be involved in activities? These activities are shared, like this year we shared an annual plan, and we'll do so for 2024. So whenever you see activities being advertised, please come on board and attend. Through attendance is where you'll be noticed. Allow me also to say, we are receiving a lot. We'll be building a very strong database, specialized databases, so that we understand different skill sets for our members, because we are being consulted in different areas. So one of the way we'll be involving our members is, if they need a database expert, we'll go back to our database and pull some CVs and see if we can send you to represent the association. So far, we've been randomly calling members. Some of you, we've invited you to represent us, and we cannot invite all of the people at the same at once, but we shall continue recognizing all of you members to ensure that at least most of us become part of the activities and sit on various committees. The other question was, what is our clear strategy for academicians and industry? So, like I mentioned, we've got a chapter for the academicians, which will formally launch soon also, though it's in operation. This is consisted of professors and doctors from various universities in Zambia, and they've been holding conferences every year. So this September we had one, the Pact 2023, where they invite different people to present papers, and those papers are published in the technical journal, which is also owned by ICTAZ. I'm sure the registrant team will be relaunching this so that this comes to pass. So our plan is to create what we call the transfer office, skill transfer office, where we invest in research and development, and most of the research that are being done by this group of academicians are turned into solutions by the industrial, professionals. So we are trying to ensure that we bridge that gap and align these two. And this also comes to students. Students, we've ensured that every quarter we hold an hackathon to ensure that we, identify skill and reward the deserving students. Thank you. We may pick more questions.
Thank you so much, Mr. President. I think at this point, knowing that on the chat questions, some of the follow-up questions coming from the same people, maybe allow me to switch to voice messages, questions, and then we can allow members to ask. But I've noticed one new question. I'll just read that very question, which is coming from a new person. Then we'll follow the queue to hear questions from individual members. If we could, when putting our questions, please let's just introduce ourselves. Possibly we put up our camera so that our members can also know us. So the question is coming from Hector Makaliki. It goes on to say, if we can consider organizing summary presentations to help explain the ICTAZ Act of 2021, I believe maybe this meant 2018, such as the ICT Act of 2021, okay, such as the E-Government Act, Cybersecurity and Data Protection, and the SI is being signed. So this is some sort of having summary presentations to various registrations and laws that govern our sector. At this point, allow me to switch on to the queue. We'll come back to these chat questions, but most of them are follow-up questions from those who've already asked. I'll start with Ernest Uhuru Gondwe. Please, sir, you could just introduce yourself. Possibly we put on your video so that we can have a privilege of knowing you. Ask your question, please just make it one, and then we move on to another person. Mr. Gondwe, sir. Mr. Gondwe, if you're not there, we'll go to unknown. But Mr. Unknown, we can also take into consideration that you've posted a couple of questions which have been answered. So please, you can be brief so that we give chance to others. But then also, it's just important we know you. You introduce yourself and please put on your video so that we know who we are talking to. It will be very important. Thank you so much. A single question, sir.
Good evening. How are you? Mr.
Very well,
President.
how are you?
Let me answer in both.
It's very well, thank you, sir.
I'm very much fine, boss, but I only know that Mr. Unknown, so you may introduce yourself.
The registrar is calling me Mr. Unknown. My name is Pastor Hampande from the Copper Belt University.
Okay. My apologies, I was, this technology was just identifying you by that. My apologies.
Yeah, I remember we met at the, is it the event at Mulungush, right?
Yeah, we did. Thank you so much.
Yes, thank you very much for support.
Sorry, Mr. President and the registrar, I'll be a little bit in my question to yourselves as the executive. Today is the fraternity. We were visited with a news that stated that Zambia and Rwanda signing an MOU for an invoice management system where traders will be using this invoice system and tagging the banks so that when the payment is done, automatically it goes to ZRI. To you, Mr. President, and indeed the registrar, we have enough professionals in Zambia that can carry out this mean application. It's quite a disappointment coming from myself, membership. What is it that we're doing to ensure that we do not have some of these foreign applications finding themselves in the country when we can do these works? Does it mean we have a problem at the top level? Can we get your reaction to this? Thank you.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you so much, sir. I still got a hand raised by Mr. Gondwe. Mr. Gondwe, please come through. Otherwise, I'll go back to the questions which have been posted on the chat. Or if there's any other person who's got a question, please raise your hand. We want to take a few questions from you, verbal questions, before we revert to the hands. Any question while we wait for Mr. Gondo to come through? Is there anyone with a question? Or I go back to the chat questions? Okay, there's a hand from Mr. Mwape Chikorwa and then Mr. Frank Chela. So we'll move in that order. So Mr. Mwape, one question, please. Put on your video, introduce yourself, and then ask a question. A single question, please.
Good evening, Ms. Chikolo. Unfortunately, I'm in a dark place. I can't switch on my video, but I have a question just to concur with Mr. Mpande. Just a follow-up question with Mr. Mpande to say, what are we doing, yes, exactly, as an association, especially working in collaboration with Smart Zambia on some of these systems that are coming through, and they're coming in from foreign expertise and not our locals? Are we working with Smart Zambia? Because some of these government entities are utilizing foreign expertise. What are we doing about it? Are we even in association and in conjunction with them such that they can involve us at different disciplines of our fraternity? Thank you.
Thank you so much, and apologies. I think I wrongly addressed you. Your name
That's not
like
a
mine.
problem.
Apologies. I think allow me to avoid that. mistakes, just to address the names as they come, because that's pardon me on that. There was another hand. Thank you so much. There was another hand which was raised, but just dropped off. Please, if the question is
Hello.
yes, yes, sir.
Good evening.
Please go ahead. Yes. So we can hear
Sorry,
some background noise.
I'm on a bus. I'm on a bus coming from work. So what my question quickly is that is there a way of maybe an interpretation or maybe a creation of a fora where interpretation can be done to these acts in regard to ICT and this SI that you've that has just been signed? If it you can probably put up a fora or a day that maybe these acts can be explained to students and others that may not even fully understand it or have time to go through it, so that we take it like a lesson or something where we'll be able to understand it more and better. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Frank. A bit uncomfortable, but please allow me. Then let me add one question from the chat. Mwape's hand is still raised. I believe it's still in line with the same question it was asked. So in a third question to that, Mr. President, comes from Mutune Chaiwale. I don't know if it's a question or a comment, but let me take it note of it. Charging affiliation fees to unemployed ICT professionals annually is broad daylight robbery and you'll be scrapped off. Okay, Mr. Mutune, you will allow me that we can still express our questions or comments in a more civil and sober manner for the sake of everyone. I mean, we are here for the association and for every one of us. This is our association, it's yours, it's mine as well. So just for the sake of the other people, because I'm trying to read the question as they are without changing the meaning, but I'll be a bit uncomfortable to read them if the language is not very much civil. Okay, before I continue, that is a question. There's a hand from Ali Kingston, Muira. Please go ahead.
All right. Thank you very much, Chair. Good evening, Mr. President, sir, and good evening, everyone.
Good evening, sir.
Thank you very much. All right, thank you very much. Commendation to this initiative. I like it. I hope everyone is going to benefit. All right, quick to my question. It's concerning the masterclass, which Mr. President mentioned. It's a very good initiative, which I applaud you for that. Now, my question is, since you are that you are coming up with this program, I'm wondering if the curriculum has already been set, or what I mean is the topics to tackle has already been set, and how is it going to be delivered? I think that's my question.
Thank you so much. I think that should make the third question, the fourth. So the president to pick those questions, then we move on to other.
Okay. Thank you very much, Registrar and members. So I'll start with a question from Pastor Mpande of CBU. Yeah, so Pastor, your question is you want to comment on the news that flashed, I think, on social media that our, meaning our government has signed an MOU with Rwanda over that invoicing software. So on this one, as you may know, this has just come today. So allow the association to table it down with, the powers that be, the ministry and we will definitely revert back and inform you on the matter. As it is, it's very difficult for me to comment on, but we shall get more details and understand why. So be assured that the association will make a follow-up on that. Then this was also Ms. Mwape Chikolo also. In the same vein, she was wondering whether we are working with Smart Zambia to ensure the foreign expertise. The last time we had a chat with the national coordinator, he did indicate that priority, even through ZPPA, we discovered that priority has been given to local companies. There are tiers that they've created for those people in procurement, of which the tenders are first floated to the locals. Then if they do not meet the requirement, that's when they go out, and they also encourage the partnerships. However, we agree that we have a lot of people with the skills in Zambia, but as you know, again, ICTAZ mandate, sometimes we tend to forget we're a professional body, and we've got a lined up functions that we can do. So even as we are questioning these, we've got a limit to what we can question, but notwithstanding that, we cannot follow up the issue. Like I said in my address, what we need to get feedback from you, our members, and our job is to take that, feedback as it comes from us to the people that is targeted to. So whenever we call upon these reviews, ensure that we attend and give constructive feedback. I also mentioned in my address that when we were getting feedback on the Data Protection Act, we only got 6 feedback from 6 people out of the possible 8,000 members that we're supposed to have, which is, I think, quite sad. So we hope this will change. I come to the question by Frank. Is there any way in which interpretation of the SI is? Yes, Frank. And even this SI that was signed yesterday, the registrant team soon will be calling on a virtual meeting where we'll review it and give feedback on the. So our job is, whenever we see such, we should always go through, so that when you are called upon to give feedback, it will be easy for us to contribute to the inputs in such documents. Then Kingston, I think my man, I'm sure you joined late. Master classes, what we said was we are moving with time. So we are always looking at those programs that, let me not say emerging technologies, but those new, like right now, the masterclass we had corporate governance, we had big data analytics, we had one machine learning, so artificial intelligence. So you can see that we are moving with time. So sometimes we'll be running some survey or questionnaires to you, our members, of which we did prior to our AGM, to ask you. We floated about 8 programs, of which we wanted you, our members, to choose which ones you feel will be suitable for us to tackle. So we'll always make a consultative, process before we come up with our, on what master classes to take. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mr. President, for those questions. I'll take the next set of questions. In the interest of giving chance to everyone, we can allow those who haven't asked questions. Please, if you've got a question, raise your hand. Otherwise, I'll continue to read the questions on the chat. I'll assume the hands which are still raised by the pastor and Ali Kingston are the ones which were asked. So
no, this is the follow-up question.
It's talking. I think it's a new question. Pastor. So let me just read the So Mutune Chaibare said we need to publicize the financial report for this year. I think this doesn't need the presidents. We always publicize the audited financial statement. So right now, if you go on the website, you'll find them. For this year, we are just done 3 quarters. And of course, when the year is done, we'll do so. The next question is, Alex, why are you not giving full details of the court case? You used our money. 100 PIN plus is not small money. This case is out of court. You should be able to give full details to the members. I think the president has taken note of that. Then we'll move on to, I've seen a hand which has been raised by Daliso as a new hand. Daliso, please turn on your video, introduce yourself, ask your question. One question, please. Daliso, are you there? While Daliso is coming on board, allow me to read the next question. This one, I think, has been asked by the pastor on the Rwanda issue. Okay, so there was another question from Support Assurance, which was, thank you, Mr. President. A follow-up would be a request which committees. Okay, let me read as it is. Thank you, Mr. President. A follow-up would be to request which committees with ICTAZ are looking at these SIs and directive regulatory pronouncements being made. If these committees exist, when are they planning to submit to the membership? Maybe just a clarification. So Support Assurance, there are 2 things which have been communicated by the president. There are some SIs which have been raised by the members, which have to do with the other acts beside the ICT Act. The SIs which were being mentioned by the president, which have been worked on by means of justice, means of technology, and the judiciary and ICTAZ, are the SIs to operationalize the ICTAZ Act. So maybe I'll give you a chance to clarify your question. Then I move on. I think, I don't know if there was this question which came from Mr. Makaliki. I think it wasn't addressed. If we can consider organizing summary presentations to help explain the ICT Acts of 2021, such as e-Government Act, Cybersecurity and Data Protection, and the SIs being signed. I don't know if this one has been addressed also. We move on to, okay, Kamayoyo just commented on the question which was asked. Then Henry Mulenga asked, evening, what steps has the association put in place with regards to practicing certificates which has an impact on the association membership, i.e., the association would be better funded if compliance for membership was enhanced. What steps has the association put in place with regards to practicing certificates which has an impact on the association membership, i.e., the association would be better funded if compliance for membership was enhanced? Then the same Lenga says local ICT exams for certification could be discounted if a student membership standing is on order, as an example. Local ICT exams or certifications could be discounted if a student's membership standing is on order, as an example. I'm not sure, Mr. President, if you understand this question.
I think it's yeah.
You do? Okay. And I think from there you can pick the questions. Are you? Yes.
Thank you. Thank you very much. I'll start with Alex, who said, why are we not giving the case details? Alex, if we started to explain what happened, when was it done, believe me, it would be another 2-hour session, because these things happened maybe over some period of time. And what was important is to note that it was a disciplinary issue. And if you want to read through what happened, the judgments are made available. They're in public domain. I think as members, we have the right to request for such documents from the courts. If I'm not mistaken, we have legal people here who can, control us. However, if you still insist that you want to know, I think Secretariat, the registrar is available. You can make an appointment so that you understand. We understand 100 pin plus being your money as you are putting it. It's a lot of money. And we admit, yes, it's a lot of money, but it's very difficult for us. Even from onset, I think before this case went even to court, we were asked to explain on WhatsApp, but we did not, go into details to explain every little, aspect of the case. But what we said, it was a disciplinary issue, which has been disposed of. Yes. Then support assurance. I think the registrar mentioned to clarify this issue, to say the committees looking at SIs. So for the SIs of ICTAZ, we've strategically appointed people to sit on a committee, not just because we have to pick from the membership, but when you look at the nature of these, they require people with legal minds. So that's why I said there are people from judiciary, people from Ministry of Justice, people from ICTAZ Secretariat, people from the membership. Last week, we also called one of our members. I won't be shy to mention Mr. Sokoni, who is a legal person with an ICT experience. We called him to invite him to sit on one committee, and he will be playing a very big role in reviewing these, participating in the review processes. So like we said, we speak strategically from the membership, from the ministries that are involved, that is Ministry of Technology, Judiciary, and also ICTAZ and Justice. And then for these others, that supports other things like the registrar said, like the one that came out for e-government. We may create a call, and all of you who have the chance to participate and suggest, and put up the reactions against that. Then, Mulenga, what are we doing on practicing licenses? So, Mulenga, practicing license, one of the issues that is holding this is the same SIs that we are, getting. We are pushing, but once these SIs comes out, they will help us operationalize the act, meaning now they'll compel each and every IT practitioner to ensure that we cannot practice IT without a license, just like we cannot go on the road without a driver's license. So we are pushing very much to ensure that these SIs are concluded before the end of the year. And we agree with you, this is what is holding a lot of membership growth. Yes.
Thank you so much, Mr. President. Knowing that there is no any question, there is no any other hand.
Joseph.
The chair,
Continue with the next question. But
I've been raising my hand, chair.
Colleagues, allow me that maybe we pick questions for the next 20 minutes or so, then we close. We could be holding on some people because we started at exactly 5:30. So if we do for
Chair.
2 hours, you'll agree with me that we've done quite justice. We may not completely exhaust all the questions, but then we can still compile and then respond to some. So allow me to pick on questions from those who haven't asked so that everyone has an opportunity to ask. Then if we remain with time, we can go to those who haven't asked. So I'll go to Conrad Shimatimbe, who says the court case calls for the strengthening of the ICTAZ constitution, disciplinary committee, and arbitration areas. This takes away the trust from general membership against the council, especially that the issue is at the helm of the association. Okay. I don't know, Mr. President, if you speak the question. Okay, I can move. Okay. From Mr. Andrew Njekwamtuna. Okay. Okay. I'm trying to look for those who haven't had an opportunity to ask. Okay, Tsanga Mukosa says, when is the association opening provincial branches like EIZ has? Okay, so Daliso acknowledged that he had a problem with a mic, but his question was around payment of subscription fees. He says there was a circular that was shared sometime in August this year to communicate that government had discontinued subscription of membership fees on behalf of its employees. Is the association already engaging the government on this matter? And the last one from those who haven't had an opportunity to ask is Nicholas Gondwe. Nicholas asked, the meeting should have specific time and end time to enable good time management. Yeah, so this is a comment. I think, Mr. President, what we could do, because I've noticed that we have so many questions from the people who had asked questions. Maybe we will compile those, then we can maybe respond to them. Then so we can answer those, then we can give maybe a last set, a last round of those who haven't asked, maybe the last set of questions. Okay. Okay. Over to you.
Yeah. Thank you very much once again. So, Conrad, the court case calling for strengthening of our, is it constitutional? Regulatory framework. One thing I need to mention is, Conrad, as an association established under the Act of Parliament, we are bound to be sued, and we can sue. So this is one thing or area that we cannot avoid. Sometimes, being taken to court tests our, what can I say? The level or how we are conducting ourselves in offices. Like, I'll give an example. This judicial review was meant to see whether procedures were followed in suspending the member, of which the court found that yes, everything was in line. So we cannot, it's not us to avoid going to court, but it's who is taking us to court. So somehow we are being taken to court because of these same laws. So when the law is made and somebody try to contest against it, definitely we cannot avoid it. But what we need to do is to ensure that we have, policies in place and guidelines that ensure that whenever we are making decisions, we are being, guided by the guidelines, and we are not making decisions that are coming from Mr. Sinyangwe or the registrar. In that way, we are safe. Even if we are taken to court, we will go and, present the issues as they are. Then Chisanga asked about when we are opening provincial branches like EIZ. Very good question. I don't know whether you've read our constitution. Our constitution allows us to open these branches whenever we feel we've got a bigger number of people that can run such. You agree with me that ICTAZ has been growing exponentially, and Right now, we are struggling with numbers. The total number maybe of paid up registrars, if I'm not mistaken, we have how many paid up members?
As of this year, we just those who've renewed, we are just slightly below 1,500.
Yeah.
This year.
Thank you. So 1,500, if we are to split those, you find that each region will remain maybe with 150. But we have it in our strategic plan to ensure that before the end of our strategic plan, one branch will be opened either in the Copper Belt or any other, province where we feel we have a huge number of people. So it's a very good question, and we ensure that as we grow, branches are opened. Remember, opening these offices requires financial resources. We need to employ people, we need to rent offices, we need to find tools, and right now, at the level where we are trying to survive and run the Lusaka Open. But as we grow, like we were talking about the practicing certificates and compliance, the number grows, then we'll be able to open branches almost in all the provinces. Then Daliso, yes, this circular, as you may know, does not just affect ICTAZ. So the engagement with the government is a bit tricky. We can't just go as ICTAZ and, question the government why they've done this. But we've been planning to, sit on the round table with other professional bodies and put heads together and see maybe if we can do a joint paper which we can present to government so that they advise us on the way forward, because we are established under Act of Parliament, meaning we have to run this as an association, and it needs financials to run. These financials needs to come from members, and members, it does not stop individual members from paying, but only stop the government from paying for those members. So it's a big tricky issue that we need a lot of time, deliberation, planning before we engage them. Otherwise, like I'm saying, we'll put heads together and see the best way we can handle this.
Thank you, Mr. President. At this point, allow me to take the last set of questions and then we can close the meeting. So we can give chance to those who will not ask. Nevertheless, if no one is coming forth, we can take from any three questions. Any questions? Okay. We don't have any other question. So colleagues, thank you so much for having spared the last 2 hours to listen to the affairs of the association and the address by the president. Indeed, I'm not going to take your time for granted. It shows how involved and interest we are taking in the affairs of the association. This is an association for every one of us. Like the president has said, we are established under an Act of Parliament, and for as long as the law remains, the association will still be there. So the area we took interest in the association and get involved in what's happening, then we are going to grow. Trust me, like the president said this morning, we met with the permanent secretary, we were with him, and the government is actually expecting a lot from us. We'll be calling upon various collaborations, paper writing, paper presentation, suggestions, and things like that. But the expectation of our stakeholders is actually quite big. And this is not the expectation of the Sinyangwe-led executive or the secretary led by me, but it's a collective expectation, and together we can take this association to the level it deserves to be. Otherwise, thank you so much. and
Hello, Reg.
place each one.
Hello, Reg.
Thank you so much for the.
Hello.
So thank you and have a pleasant
Hello, Reg.
evening.
Hello,
And,
Reg. Can you
I'm
hear
sure
me?
we'll be tuning in each time we call for
Can you
activities.
hear
Thank
me,
you.
Reg? Hello. Hello. Hello, Reg. Hello, Reg. Can you hear me, Reg?
Mr. Mole, are you?
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah, for me, it's just an encouragement. And of course, kudos to the president and everyone who was a part of this particular meeting. My encouragement is such that whenever such meetings are called upon, I think let's take it upon ourselves to attend, to avoid duplicity and to avoid missing out on important responses or questions, firsthand. I was just looking at the attendance. The attendance wasn't really that good as expected. And the experience has been that those who did not attend this particular briefing or where the president was addressing us may not really have, full hand information. So what I'm saying is, whenever such kind of meetings are called upon, I think let's take it upon ourselves to attend, and if we have any burning issues, let's brainstorm, let's bring them to the fore so that they're addressed accordingly as it has been, not really getting it from a third party and the like. You don't really get the way things were really presented. So my encouragement is, next time whenever a meeting of that nature is called upon, let's come on board. This is our association. No one else will make it vibrant if we don't do it ourselves as members of this particular great association. I thought I needed to just add on to whatever has been here, Reg and President.
Thank you so much. Maybe for the sake of formalities, Mr. George Mori was just encouraging us. He's the chairperson for Northern region. Thank you, everyone, and have a great evening.
Well, thank you.
Thank you. Enjoy the rest of the evening.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.